Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days. So we still have some fairly decent conditions over the next few days, but it is going to gradually get unsettled before peaking around Wednesday and Thursday with quite a large deluge for many areas. Now we'll have a look at the latest 3 o'clock UKV run, and it is pretty dramatic for that midweek period with some widespread torrential rain, some thunderstorms in places, and overall a really quite miserable feel. But when we have a look at it, I will make sure to caveat that with the fact that we are seeing a lot of uncertainty. The past 3 or 4 UKV runs have moved this area of rain around significantly, from no rain at all to maybe 20 or 30 millimetres. So when we look at that, do take it with a grain of salt, and it's likely to still change in the next couple of days. As we look at the longer range, it is looking very changeable. We could see more areas of long spells of rain and potentially thunderstorms, but equally we could see some dry, warmer conditions. And there's a lot of scatter, as you'll see from the latest ensemble. Some very warm runs, some slightly cooler runs, but overall it's not too terrible for the time of year. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if we start on the live radar, you can see there are a few odd showers around today. A couple outbreaks of storms towards southern Scotland, maybe into northwest England. A few isolated showers just to the north of Portsmouth, and a few more heavy showers towards the south of the Republic of Ireland. There's poor radar coverage here, so it's difficult to say exactly the extent of these storms, but they do look pretty lively here and pretty active at the moment. Elsewhere, it's been bone dry, plenty of sunshine, and you can see the temperatures have responded to that. Warmest conditions across northwest of England, the West Midlands, across towards the Republic of Ireland. And the reason for this is because you have got a bit of an easterly flow, that wind coming in from the east-northeast. Again, this time of year, we've still got cool sea surface temperatures in the North Sea, and it has meant that the temperatures close to the shore have been pretty chilly. You can see this up towards northeast England, down the east coast into East Anglia, slightly chillier conditions, temperatures more in the mid-teens to even low teens, where it's getting towards the low 20s further westwards. It's just unfortunate this time of year these things happen. You can see across Europe, if we put the live radar back on, a lot of heavy showers, and with the temperatures you can see those much cooler temperatures across parts of Germany here, and this is the low pressure system that is starting to spin up, bringing lots of heavy rain and flooding across northern Europe. It is going to be heading our way for Wednesday. Initially through Tuesday, heavy showers will start, and then we'll see that heavy rain. So if we do have a look at the latest UKV, to have a look at the specifics for this sort of thundery breakdown as we head into the middle of the week with heavy rain in places. You can see a few showers through the rest of this evening, but most are going to be pretty dry overnight. You can see the wind coming in off the North Sea, that's why it's slightly cooler across east coastal areas. Into Monday afternoon, another very dry day and pretty sunny indeed. Again, more showers breaking out across Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland there, with some darker reds appearing, which indicates some pretty torrential rain. So again, locally here, we could see some issues. We haven't got any warnings issued at this stage for Northern Ireland. As we move into Tuesday, it's again a fairly dry night, but there's more showers starting to break out, and this is because the pressure is starting to lower, and we start to see those triggers. So heavy showers, maybe even a few thunderstorms overnight, and as we enter Tuesday afternoon, more areas of rain moving in. Now this is where we start to see significant uncertainty. You can see here we've got another widespread outbreak of showers and storms across Northern Ireland to the Republic of Ireland, extending perhaps into parts of Wales, southwest England, and then you can see some persistent heavy torrential rain into East Anglia in the southeast of England. Now here it looks like it could be a washout afternoon, but we won't have a look at it. But if we go back to the 3 o'clock run, it's nowhere to be seen. A few showers around, actually a sunny afternoon to evening, and this is the deviation between the runs, all because of the positioning of the low. And because of this is convection based, very subtle differences can make huge differences in very subtle differences in the pressure and the synoptics can make huge differences in the actual precipitation we see. So even though here it's looking pretty horrible in that eastern area, there's just one sort of thing to note, that it might not happen at all. We're seeing lots of up and down from the runs and lots of chopping and changing. The same could be said for the showers further westwards, but given the extent of the convection, I'd say it's likely we see showers, maybe just not exactly where it's showing at this stage. As we head through Tuesday evening, that rain continues in from the west, and then as we head into the early hours of Wednesday, we start to see an area of very heavy and widespread rain. Now there's less uncertainty with this rain because it's a much larger system, so much bigger things have to be shifted to move this completely away, but we are still seeing significant deviations about how far this comes inland and how heavy it will be. Here we're seeing widespread significant rain, yellows, reds and oranges in here, indicating rainfall rates of up to 10, 20, 30 millimeters per hour in some of the banding of this. So it could again be significant flooding in places, not only just the fact that it's long lasting, but it is going to be pretty torrential through Wednesday afternoon into the evening. You can see it lasts all day up and down the country, really quite horrible indeed. Very only slowly clearing into Thursday, but even through much of Thursday we still have that rain lingering through the evening, going light and patchy, but still really a miserable day. So almost 48 hours of persistent rain here from the UKV for eventually clearing away, and Friday turning slightly drier. Now I said a minute ago we will have a look at the 3 o'clock run, but actually I do want to have a look at it just to compare to what we've just seen there, because that does look pretty extreme indeed, and I just want to say it's not guaranteed to play out like that. That is on the extreme end. Now if you first go to Tuesday afternoon, where we see that rain in the southeast corner, you can see there are showers around, but actually it's nowhere near as horrible, it's nowhere near as widespread, and instead it's a smattering of showers like we're seeing further westwards. So again, highlights huge uncertainty. As we head into Wednesday, we do see that heavy rain moving in, but look at this, it's only skirting the east coast. Further westwards, it's cloudy, a few heavy thundery showers breaking out, but nothing significant. And actually, as we head into Thursday, yes, we see some more rain drifting inland, but nowhere near as widespread. The difference between the 3 a.m. run and the 3 p.m. run today, in some places, is 2 or 3 inches of rain through that Wednesday-Thursday period. So it just again highlights the uncertainty we have with the positioning of this rain, and because of the intensity of it, it could make absolutely massive differences as what we see at the surface. At this stage, Wednesday and Thursday is looking like to be unsettled, cloudy with rain around, but whether you see a few odd heavy showers, maybe a bit of persistent rain for a few hours, or whether you see 48 hours of pretty persistent rain, we can't really say for certain at this stage, even though it's only around 48 to 72 hours away from starting. So again, I just wanted to really emphasize there is massive uncertainty here. So if you are seeing a forecast saying it's going to be an absolute washout, it is a possibility, but it's not a guarantee. There is still loads of different outcomes possible here. Hopefully by tomorrow evening we'll have a much better idea. But again, we'll just have to continue to have a look at the latest runs and see how they develop. Whether they push this further westwards, keep it where it was at 3 p.m. run, or push it eastwards again like the 3 a.m. run. Now, if you go and have a look at the max temperatures and go back to that latest run, you see this afternoon temperatures around the low 20s, in 23, 24. So really pleasant, above average, warm, early summer's day. As we head into Monday, a similar picture in places, 22, 23 degrees, we see plenty of sunshine. But with more showers into Tuesday, it is likely to hold those temperatures down. In a few places, you can see more towards the mid to high teens, maybe just about touching 20 degrees. And this is because the wind direction is changing and we've got more showers. Now, Wednesday, pretty miserable. Look at that, 13 to 15 degrees for many areas, all that heavy rain around, avoiding that rain to the north, west and south. We do see thunderstorms breaking out, maybe 18 or 19. And then into Thursday, still really miserable, starting to get into the double digits across Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland or Wales there, where we see some really thick cloud, and even across central England, only 11 or 12 degrees. So really miserable and cold midweek period, if the rain is in that position. If it's further eastwards, it could be 20 degrees. So again, not only the precipitation could be vastly different, but the temperatures as well. And then finally into Friday, a bit of a response in the southeast, with the temperatures rising as we do see dry conditions, but further northwards, still pretty chilly indeed as we have that rain around. But again, all could change if that rain is slightly altered in its positioning. Again, really going to try and pinpoint that over the next couple of days. But at this moment, we can't say with too much certainty, unfortunately. But just keep eyes on that period. Now, do look at the longer range, look at the latest GFS. Again, high pressure in control at the moment. That low pressure rising up from Europe over the next couple of days. And the position of that, it decides where the heavy rain will be. Beyond that, eventually high pressure does return by next weekend, but low pressure returns by Sunday into Monday. So we see a couple of days of high pressure before we see another low moving in. Fortunately, the low is losing its intensity, so it's not strengthening, which should mean the rain shouldn't be too heavy or widespread. Another brief ridge of high pressure, and then we could see another low coming in off the Atlantic. So again, just going back to what I said at the start of the video, very changeable conditions, on and off rain, and potentially some decent conditions, but also some thunderstorms mixing in. If you go into the United Kingdom look and actually have a look at the accumulated precipitation, you can see lots of heavy rain coming in. See over the next couple of days, not too much, and then suddenly, as we head into Wednesday, lots of very heavy rain in the overnight period. So you see the GFS really does bring that rain quite far inland, but it does it much further northwards. You can see here across the parts of the Midlands, central southern England, the southeast, not seeing much more than half an inch of rain or even less. And that's because all the heavy rain is further northwards, and you can see here we're widely seeing 1 inch to 2 inches, maybe up towards 3 inches in the worst areas. So again, need to keep a closer eye on that. If you look at the latest GM, again, high pressure building in, low pressure eventually pushing through Tuesday and Wednesday before high pressure returns, before we see more lows trying to push off the Atlantic, but again, very changeable conditions. Here, very warm air just to our south, we could tap into that at times, could feel thunderstorms, but also could give us more warmer, dry conditions. We finally finished by looking at the latest ECMWF. This is just coming out now and it's fully actually updated. Again, low pressure moving in for Wednesday and Thursday. High pressure returning for a time for more low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. And by day 10, very changeable conditions. High pressure in the south, low pressure in the north. And you can see actually a chilly air mass starting to come in off the Atlantic, but it would be a very sort of temporary little bump of cold air as we do see those slightly fresh conditions, but again, very up and down. Now, if you finish by looking at the latest ensemble, we've seen generally around average over the next week or so, and then we kind of see some deviations around the last few days of the month, and maybe a little bit more precipitation there appearing for the last few days, and of course through the middle of the week. Beyond that, though, we continue to stay fairly showery, temperatures in and around average, plenty of very warm runs, plenty of some chillier runs. Definitely there's a little bit of an upwards trend there towards the first 2 days of June. A lot more runs going towards 10 degrees and above, which are positive signs of something a bit warmer, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be dry. Could definitely see precipitation around. If we look at the sea level pressure, you can see it's kind of hovering in between high pressure, low pressure. So either weak low pressure or weak higher pressure. And it generally means that it's not going to be amazingly settled, but it's not going to be amazingly unsettled either. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on it. But at the moment, no real signs of any major dry spell, heat wave, but neither any major signs of very wet and windy weather. The wet weather we could be seeing in the week is really down to this one localized trough that is getting very intense coming in off the North Sea and from Northern Europe, an unusual system, but the traditional westerly flow, wet and windy, stormy conditions, not looking likely. Now, if we finish by looking at the latest ECMWF, looking at the midnight run, very similar to the GFS, you see big precipitation spikes appearing for Wednesday and Thursday, so it could be an absolute deluge in places there for dropping off beyond that, and again hovering in around average, so not really too much deviation from the latest GFS. So not looking too bad in the longer term, very up and down, and it'll be one we sort of take it day by day, but in the short term, next couple of days don't look too bad, but it's gradually turning more showery, and by maybe Tuesday and at the latest Wednesday, we are going to be seeing widespread rain returning, especially for the east, and there is massive uncertainty on the track of that big wall of rain. Where will it move in? We've been highlighting it for the past few days, a risk of some very unsettled conditions through the middle of this week, and finally it is starting to come into that UKV time frame. Just where does that rain come in, and where does it linger into Thursday or even into Friday? It can make a big difference to where we see weather warnings and potentially some significant flooding, as it not only looks very prolonged and persistent, but it looks very heavy and torrential, at least initially. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.